For the last 50 years, politics has become nothing but a battlefield, and we the people are over it. It's time to restore our republic. Did you know that there are patriots who are suing the political elites on behalf of the American people? We have started a movement called M90USA, and to hear our story, tune in to the No, It's About the Republic show. Find out about our movement and how you can get involved to help retake our great republic. You're fine.
What is the question? I don't even remember.
The question is, what kinds of things have been happening to you in your personal life as a result of going after this lawsuit?
Well, people might have noticed I got fired. I mean, that wasn't for filing the lawsuit, but that was for attending the January 6th protest.
Is that not what kind of triggered all this?
It is, actually. It is. And it's funny because, this Washington Post reporter I was talking to, she's like, so it sounds like a lot of good things in your life have actually happened since the insurrection. I was like, the what? The insurrection? She's like, yeah, well, the insurrection.
Okay, first off, we weren't doing
Okay,
that.
wait a minute.
Wait, no. Not an insurrection.
Not an insurrection.
Not an insurrection. There was no. You weren't carrying firearms. You weren't, intent of this stuff. So no insurrection. No, it was a protest.
Right. Well,
Okay.
I said, ma'am, you have to have intent to overthrow the government to have an insurrection.
That's the definition.
And I said, okay. For my part, just in case anybody's still wondering, and I have posted a public letter that I wrote to the disciplinary committee of the Western District of Texas because some judge thought that I had committed an ethical violation by attending the quote-unquote riot on January 6th. And so I very extensively wrote, okay, look, I went there first by myself. So it's not like you can say I conspired with anybody.
Organized, though.
I
You
literally
organized
went there by
yourself.
myself.
Wait a second, Paul.
Yeah.
If you're an insurrectionist, you're a poor planner.
If I'm an insurrectionist, I'm the worst insurrectionist
They
ever.
must have looked at your suitcase. It was over-organized.
Yeah,
No.
I would be, worst insurrectionist in history right here. So, so I go by myself. I went to see all the speeches, including Trump's speech at the Ellipse. It was freezing cold. We were shoulder to shoulder. It took me forever to walk back to my hotel to thaw out a little bit, find an overcoat, or put on an overcoat, walk all the way back. And my hotel was it was a pretty long walk. By the time I get back there, I understand at some point there was some kind of struggle with cops, and I've seen some of the videos, and they had these little, I guess, like bike rack looking gate things, barriers or something like that. None of that was there when I got there. So I literally just walked up all the way to kind of the middle of the Capitol on the side facing the Washington Monument.
With the Capitol Police ushering you forward?
No. I didn't really encounter Capitol Police until I got to a line it was about 3 or 4 deep of Capitol Police.
That's where the video took place.
Yeah, and that's where the video took place. And they were armed with shields and batons and, as I found out, gas grenades.
The hard way.
Right. And so I was literally standing there just saying, hey, things like, this is evil. What's happening in our country? They're not letting us audit this election process, and we don't know if they're going to properly object and all this stuff. And the people need to know what happened here. Why are they hiding the evidence?
Mm-hmm.
And, reporters say, they did do an audit. Georgia audited it 5 times. Yeah, they counted the same ballots over and over again.
Wait a second. They counted copies of scanned documents, but not the originals, not the original. See, no, they didn't have an audit.
Yeah.
They had a FODit. It was fraudulent. It was a fraudulent audit. It's a FODit.
Exactly.
Okay? And we're going to coin that. FODit. It was a FODit.
It was a
Had
fraud.
a recount is what they had.
No, they FODit.
It was just
a
a
recount.
recount. Which
It was
is
a
not an
recount
audit.
of the same. It's the same recount that did not comply with the Civil Rights Act of 1960.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So the election officials had a fraudulent, knowingly and purposely intentional fraudulent audit.
Right.
Okay, let's go over it again. The Georgia officials had a knowingly, purposely, and intentional fraudulent audit.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would say
I
that's
said that,
correct.
but you didn't say it. I said it.
Right.
Okay, so the fact of the matter is you can't say with a straight face there was no fraud, because when and all election officials have to read those components. They have to be trained on that. I found this out in the last week or so. They have to be trained on that. So they're trained to know that that retention record, if you don't do that, is a criminal act. Because they have to sign documents saying, I will not violate these criminal codes. So they knew it was. So every election official who said they'd be in an audit and presented it was engaged in fraud. That's my position, but you're not the lawyer trying that argument.
I'm not, no. I'm
No.
not.
All right, so let's continue with this story. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so just to get to the end, so I was just literally sitting there saying things like that, and then out of the blue, these gas grenades start going off around me, and it's tear gas, and I was just shocked. I was just like,
What'd I do?
I'm literally, I'm like, I was standing here, in my mind, I'm like, I'm exercising my First Amendment right, you know? And I'm getting gas for it. I wasn't being violent. I never assaulted anybody. I never vandalized anything. I never crossed any barriers any marked barriers for that matter.
Right.
I get gas. So that I made a video, and then I made another video where I was standing in front of the Capitol Police, which, what's really funny about this is if I was being so violent and was provoking the Capitol Police or whatever, leading an insurrection, how after I got gas was I able to just stand in front of the riot police and make a video?
With your back to
with
them.
my back to them.
They were your backup singers.
Yeah, right.
Your
That's
backup singers.
right. Yeah. So I mean, that's just
Well, and why
patently
would you do
illogical.
that? If you were in that situation, you wouldn't turn your back on
No.
those people. Yeah.
It's people have lost their ability to think. And I said, we're just here demanding we're here demanding an audit. The fact they won't do it should tell you something. And, I said we're all here trying to get into the Capitol. Now, in that area of the Capitol, I'd say most of the people that were around me were old people, women. I mean, there were not that many able-bodied males, and I didn't see anybody armed. So in my mind, I'm like, we're not here breaking
this is
in.
a protest. Yeah.
No, I understand there was some violence in other parts, but so I said get
He
in.
was
And,
really he's horrible in insurrection.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's almost as bad an insurrection as he is at being a racist.
Do not put insurrectionism in your resume. You're not qualified. Okay.
I better edit it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We got the
He's
five.
almost as good at that as he is being a racist.
Yeah, we got the 5-minute drill.
Yeah,
guys.
well, I'm such a racist, I was literally like the only white person in an all-black wedding, and it was one of the greatest honors of my life.
They didn't force you to be there?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe some
You were
people thought I was
kidnapped?
there
Wait,
to
wait a
colonize.
second. Did you force them to be there?
No.
Oh yeah.
It was,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, so there was no force, there was no intent to your attendance of being a best man at a wedding.
yeah. And my last church, the pastor was black. Half the church was black. And I liked that aspect of it. So it's just unbelievable.
What's really horrible about being a white guy is that we're all members of the KKK evidently when we're dropped out of the womb.
Yeah.
That's perspective. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perspective of the people with an agenda that want to divide the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is the great segue because we're going into the 5-minute drill. We got 4 minutes and 40 seconds
Oh, my
left.
goodness.
Yeah, it's been
Went
great
way too
talking to you.
fast.
We're going to throw away the other bits for the rest of this show and do
I
it
think we
next time.
covered most of the questions. The only thing I
Yeah.
wanted to hear about was some of the stuff that's been happening in your personal life as far as attacks on you personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly just a lot of hate mail. I call it fan mail. I get people saying, you
And
need
you
to
have
die.
you have an issue with your toilets?
Oh, well, I got a vandalism attack on my house. It's just a weird, weird deal.
What do you think about trolls?
Trolls, well,
Give them your best shot. Come on.
they're entertaining. I mean, they're super annoying. Trolls on Twitter annoy me because what they say, they obviously think they're so smart, but what they say is so stupid. Like, for instance, this one guy, he goes by Mithridates. I don't even know why I respond to him anymore. I need to just block him.
Mithridates?
Something like that. I guess it's some...
He thinks he's Greek.
Yeah, he thinks he's some kind of Greek philosopher or something, I guess. But I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce that, but who cares? He probably didn't even know how to pronounce it. But he just says the dumbest things, like... The other day said, Paul Davis is going to be the most unpopular person in Texas because he's complaining in his motion about how oil prices are rising. And I was just like, do you understand that the reason a lot of the reason these prices are rising is because the Biden administration has put a moratorium on drilling and exploration on federal land, and
they're not legitimate be able to do that.
Yeah, and he's going to end fracking, which is one of the biggest producers of income in the oil and gas industry right now, and is contributing to our energy independence. And by the way, a cleaner environment. One ironic thing is, it seems like every leftist policy that's supposed to be for the environment environment is actually
totally,
bad for the
those
environment.
Yeah.
What kills me
they're
is-
they're killing the reefs right now in the ocean with the stupid masks that everybody's
Oh my
throwing in the
gosh.
ocean.
What kills me is people who don't live in Texas. We're in Texas.
Yeah.
What kills me is everybody who doesn't live in Texas thinks we are all in the oil industry.
Yep.
They think we all want $50 a gallon gasoline, and we all drive big pickup trucks or Rolls Royces.
I know.
That cracks me up.
With big longhorn horns on the hood.
It's like
on everything.
You think most? I mean, I was not even say. I mean, it's a small percentage of people that are actually in the oil and gas industry, like workers, and even those people don't want to be paying outrageous gas prices.
Right.
You know, at the pump.
Gas is almost $3 a gallon, and there's nobody in Dallas happy about it.
No,
nobody.
nobody's happy about that.
Even the guys in the gas industry aren't happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I
It's
must
just-
say, though, if anybody does want to move to Texas, you better hurry up because we're going to start building that northern wall pretty soon. Just keep
Oh my
everybody
gosh, we
out.
need to.
I'm telling you right now.
But you know, but to your point earlier, they mainly make fun. They always make fun of the remedy, and I'm like, okay, well, if it's true, which it is, that every single state violated the very laws that were designed to protect the integrity of elections, namely to prevent, things like ballot box stuffing and ballot harvesting schemes and just fake fraudulent ballots.
Right.
If the very rules that were designed to protect Americans from that were themselves violated by the very procedures that the states used, the whole election was unconstitutional. What do you do when the whole election was unconstitutional? You need a remedy. And the remedy is to preserve the status quo.
okay, we're going to go long anyway on this one because
Yeah.
you just opened a can of worms here.
Okay.
Now let's look at this.
way to go.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. The issues we have here is let's not the states. It's persons tied to these two political enterprises.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start making it simple for people.
Okay.
People who had rules to follow that are called laws did not follow them. So those are individuals, and those individuals violated our civil rights, and we can hold those people accountable according to the United States Supreme Court just last week. They're going to be held accountable. Very simple to understand. Village idiots who broke the laws because they wanted to do something that Crazy Nancy and the other people in D.C. wanted them to do, got caught, and they're going to pay now, one way or the other. That's item one. Item two here is what is going on with. We need to talk about what's going on with the For the Politicians Act, House Resolution 1 that's going to go in front of Illy Joe, and when he signs it, he's going to be committing a crime. Another crime. This one is actually legitimately. This is a segue for the next show. And in the next show, we're going to be talking about the United States being an oligarchy, and we've been an oligarchy for a long period of time. And what was really disclosed in the 2020 election is the United States is really an oligarchy run by two political enterprises. And we're going to be talking about in the next show. Hopefully, Paul will be able to give some input to that and do a little video segment on it. But anyway, what we need to be looking at here is the simple facts people understand.
Yeah.
Okay. When people hear the word state, they think everybody in the state. They think it's proper. They think it's other stuff. And the fact of the matter is, I think John said it great last week. A bank robber robbing a bank, and their definition is somebody just fortifying their own bank account. No, they're called bank robbers for a reason. Okay, and Paul, what's your perspective on all of these changes in the federal law and the push by these same two political enterprises? Okay, partisan criminal enterprises, in my opinion, changing the state laws to doing this mandatory popular vote legislation at the state level. What's your thoughts about this combined effort upon our republic?
This just kind of came to me just sitting here. I like analogies. I was just thinking of a murder. I kind of used something similar in the motion, but it's almost like with HR 1, it's like the people that committed the murder, which would be the murder of the 2020 election, basically, all of our constitutional rights to an elected form.
Well,
of government.
it would be the republic. They
Yeah,
murdered
they
the
murdered
republic. They murdered the republic.
They murdered the republic.
Well, I think they've been stabbing at the back for many years, but they
Yeah.
actually just showed everybody, no, we're going to kill it.
That's a
by
better
1,000
analogy.
cuts.
It's like they severely, critically wounded the republic in the 2020 election. Now they're
Now
making
they're
it
trying to
legal
kill it.
to finish it off.
Yeah.
That would be because
Wow.
everything
Yeah.
everything that they are trying to pass in this bill is to legalize all the ways that were used to steal the election in 2020.
Well, the murder of the republic.
Yeah, the murder
It's
of
like
the
the old
republic.
lady.
Let's
The
look
murder
at
of
this.
the
Let's look at
republic,
this way. John. Now, John used to be a stuntman and actor. Actually, he is still a stuntman and
Still
actor.
am,
Still
yeah.
am. If you can imagine this scene, you're standing over somebody's a bad guy because John's a career bad guy on film.
I'm not really a criminal. I just play one on TV.
Yes. So imagine the scene where you're standing over everybody and you've shot him like 12 times. The guy's still alive. That you turn back and say, "Wait a second, I need to pass a law to make this last shot legal."
Yeah.
Before you give him the coup de grace, pop
Right.
him in the
Yeah,
grave.
so I don't go to prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that is, would that even be believable on film?
No. You can't make
that's-
this stuff up,
But
man.
that's
You
what's
can't
going
make
on
this stuff
today
up.
in our country.
You know?
Yeah.
And what drives me and John and Paul crazy, drives John the craziest, is that people just refuse to see this. They la 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 and look the other way. Get your head out of the sand, people. And
These are not conspiracy theories. This is a legal suit that's being filed that has proof and evidence and,
this is the
everything else
this is
attached
the
to
conduct of the
it. This is not a
defendants.
conspiracy theory, folks.
Well, when you look
this
at this,
is real.
when you look at one and the other,
Very
you know,
real.
Paul has a lawsuit here. He has the largest civil rights lawsuit in U.S. history.
Well, it would be because the class, and when we get a class certified, we'll be able to send a mailer out to, I'm sure
To
people have gotten
everybody.
to everybody, because everybody's constitutional rights are affected. It's the largest class action in
So
history.
328
Potentially.
million Americans.
Yeah.
The largest class of victimized
Now,
people in U.S. history.
people under 18 can't legally join a lawsuit, but I don't think.
No.
Maybe.
Well,
no,
let's
you
pass
could.
that law.
You could actually. I mean, I haven't looked into this per se, but let's say you do have a minor. I mean, minors were affected. I mean, when torts are committed against minors, you set up a trust for them, so maybe there is a procedure for that. So it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly every adult in the United States would be
the
able to
wow
join the
factor on
lawsuit.
that is just amazing
I mean,
when you
that's-
sit
I
there and
just-
think about
just
it.
now
Yeah.
thought of that.
when you look at this, there's never been anything like this before. This is such an egregious crime that's been done to kill our republic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it.
Which makes the remedy
Yeah.
not quite so insane.
I know. That's what, because reporters will say, "Well, that's crazy. That's crazy." I'm like, "Is it? Or what
What's
is
crazier?
actually crazy is that
Yeah.
our entire federal election was unconstitutional.
Yeah,
That's
that
the crazy
every
part.
single ballot was
Well,
illegal.
I think people are numbed by the words state, constitution. So when you break it down
Yeah,
to
that's true.
the simplest statement, Crazy Nancy, Moscow Mitch, Chucky Schumer, Chucky, I hate him. I'm sorry. And I got to also do a shout out to Roy Blunt, the crookedest man on the planet. Now, when you look at these people all of these people that have been in an elected position at the federal level for 35, 40 years, okay, career came into office broke. They're now multimillionaires. So obviously, the whole reason the president of the United States has lifetime security protection and retirement is because of Harry Truman. Harry Truman from the great state of Missouri. Because when he left the White House, he was homeless. And everybody in Washington said, wait a second, he's been here for how many years and he's broke? Because he didn't play the game. He wasn't crooked. He wasn't corrupt. He was the only president that was poor when he went out of the White House. And that's what's amazing when you look back at history. Harry Truman was the only president that was poor when he went out of the White House. And he said, because I was in public service, you don't steal from the people. And that's what's admirable about Harry Truman. And Harry Truman was a Democrat. So it's not, I hate it's not hating on the Demis. It's looking at somebody, there are honorable people out there. There's just a lot of people in politics that are dishonorable. And you look at these dishonorable people.
What?
Yes. You have these dishonorable people who've gone in and they did stuff, and they are defendants in a civil rights lawsuit. And now these defendants are trying to go behind the scenes and change the laws to try to say, well, we're going to grandfather ourselves in where we really didn't violate the civil rights of people over here. And this is a conspiracy to a level of known parties. This isn't a theory, this is fact. And these people literally just killed. They literally killed the Republican form of government. And they're trying to say, okay, we're going to have an oligarchy. And what's
Well,
really...
they've made a very, very good attempt at killing.
Well, when you look
I
at
think as
this...
long as we stand in the gap, that ain't going to happen.
Well, I'm 55. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. And it hit me very hard this morning that I have served an oligarchy my entire life. When I was in uniform for an oligarchy. And the people in the colleges right now, the young guys, and we talked about your kids about this, John, your those people think that all of these people like Bernie Sanders and these guys are going to move to a direct democracy. No, quite the opposite. And we're going to have a guy on in a couple weeks that came from Romania, and he said it to us great about 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
That he's going to be talking about this perspective, and I got to get on the phone and call him, but about how few people really realize that no, we're headed to totalitarianism.
Yeah.
And we're talking not
Talking
like
about somebody who's been there, done that.
we're
He's
not
seen it.
talking
He's seen it happen.
we're not talking 3, 5, 6, 10 years from now. We're talking
now.
Yep.
Now, because when you look at For the Politicians Act, and it makes me very nervous here for M90 in this podcast, is For the Politicians Act is just for this show that we're going to do it every Thursday, and we're going to start broadcasting every Thursday at 3 o'clock from this time forward. Now that we're on Apple, iTunes, and all the platforms, we're going to be broadcasting live. These people will make it where I have to, or John has to, or somebody here in this limited staff of 2 has to fill out reams of paper every week and submit them with a $500 filing fee.
Just to do what we're doing right
Just
now.
to have the conversation we've had for the last hour and 7 minutes.
Wow.
And I want everybody to think about that. And that's a good place for us to leave this conversation today. These defendants have changed and made laws that if we choose to comply, which we will not, if we choose to comply with this law that Joe Biden is about to sign, that we're going to have to fill out reams of paperwork that civil rights activists, free speech advocates are saying are more complicated than the United States tax code.
Oh my gosh.
Every time we want to mention anything about an elected official, every time we want to say anything about an elected official, we're going to have to notice them because it's considered political speech.
Well, we're gonna have to file a lawsuit about that. I mean, because you can't make us
Thank
do
you.
that.
Yeah,
That's a
I have
clear
a
violation
feeling,
of free
I have
speech.
a feeling you're going to be real busy.
Yeah, I know, right? We need to hire some more lawyers.
Okay,
so
we're
let's
gonna
get those
we're
donations
gonna
going.
go 5 more minutes.
5 more. All right.
Okay, because we're recording this and we can, and we've got the studio.
We own this place.
We own this place. Okay.
One thing I was going to say real quick about the
Yeah.
Romanian guy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's it does occur to me that the people that are the most passionate about preserving the republic in our country is those who have lived under communism. And I was just
Amen.
thinking, it's like somebody who, if you've ever seen somebody who has been burned, like they are careful around fire. I mean, like they're scared of it. And people that haven't experienced that are like, oh, they'll just
Yeah, let's play with that.
yeah, let's
That's
play
cool.
with it.
Cavalier.
Yeah, they're just cavalier with it. And I feel like, these people have been burned, so they know. They
Yeah.
know what it's like.
Yeah, I've been around a few
Passionate
people
about
who've been burned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna burn him later today. he walks around on fire all the time.
Yeah.
I'm talking, John. People aren't watching us
No,
on
but
camera.
listen, I tell you what. One of the reasons that I don't have burn marks all over me is because I sat down with a gentleman who was in a film not too long ago, or a long time ago, and now that I think about it, a gentleman named Kane Hodder. We were talking about doing fire burns for film and stuff, and he said, "Don't play with fire." I said, "Well, I don't play with fire." He says, "No, really, don't play with fire." And he opened up his shirt, and he was cooked. I mean, he got in a really bad accident and got burned from the waist up. He did a big fire burn on I think it was Friday the 13th or one of the slasher movies, and at the end of it, he peeled his fire suit down to his waist, and he walked back to his trailer. Well, an ember fell out of his fire suit, landed on his shoe, and reignited him with all of his protective gear down around his waist. So his whole upper body got fried.
Ouch.
It's the point is, it's all fun and games until you end up in a gulag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
Well, I've decided I'm not going to do a lot.
Yeah. I don't think any of us are going to get that far. That ain't going to happen. Not on my watch.
What are your greatest aspirations for what you are doing personally in law right now? What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
well, see, this is why everybody is just so shocked when they find out, oh, I lost my job. My house got attacked and has been unlivable for a while, and my fiance walked out on me. I mean, I'm not going to share that story, but we just have different views about politics and all that, and really, it's a difference of just taking a stand versus not doing anything. I'm not going to be that type of person that rolls over. I think, and so people find out that that's all happened to me, and but I'm happier than I've ever been. And why is that? Because I'm doing what I'm passionate about, which is fighting for to keep our republic and fighting for. I have a very strong sense of justice. I just hate it when I see people being oppressed.
Yeah, that'll get you into trouble too, because if you go out and you help people who don't ask for your help, they don't appreciate it.
Well, that's right. Well, that's exactly what happened with a certain entity. Yeah.
We won't go there. Yeah,
I love you, brother, but the question was,
where
do you want to be in 10 years?
Well, that's what I was going to. So what I want to be doing is I want to start the largest civil rights law practice in the United States.
So you're basically wanting to turn around and replace the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Well, it would be a completely different, different mission because we're standing up for, I'm not sure how to answer that really.
The Southern Poverty Law has really become very politicized.
Yeah,
they've taken a lot of campaign contributions, or a lot of contributions from left leaning, and they understand they get their money from writing opinions that just wasn't where the founders really started that organization from. So when I'm saying you want to replace them, you're wanting to build a law. You want to build a law firm of practicing attorneys. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's right. Yes.
For those of you who are listening, Paul's sitting there shaking his head. He didn't realize he's got a microphone in front of his face. The guy's smart, but
we can see him shaking his head.
Yeah, we can see him shaking his head. But yes. Okay. So you're wanting to basically take on and restore the republic, is what I'm hearing. Is that what
Absolutely.
you're wanting to do?
That's what I'm passionate
So that's
about.
your dream of all dreams.
It is.
And that's a great segue for talking.
So basically, you're trying to get the largest client base in the history of lawyers by representing everyone in the country, right?
Yeah.
As a firm of lawyers.
Yeah.
So if you're a lawyer out there, you're in law school right now, we're going to do a plug for Paul, okay? If you're a lawyer or you're in law school right now and you have a passion for law and you have a passion for justice, where do they need to begin to contact you at? Where do they need to contact you at?
They can send me an email to just set up my new firm's email. It's my firm is Paul M. Davis and Associates, PC, and we're in need of some associates. So,
give them an email address or something.
Paul at fireduptexaslawyer.com, and that's FIREDUPTXLAWYER.
You can spell too.
Yes, and I can spell. I one spelling bee.
So it's Paul.
Yeah.
It's Paul.
Yep. At fireduptexaslawyer.com.
So Paul at fireduptexaslawyer.com. I want to say it one more time for the people out there who haven't got it yet.
And that's
Paul,
abbreviated Texas,
Yeah,
right?
Paul at fireduptexaslawyer.com.
Texas TX.
And that's TX.
Yeah.
TX for Texas. Yeah.
Okay, so
And can I just do a real quick while we're on this?
Oh, and go ahead.
I really want to put a word out to all you lawyers out there who are already established, who already know what you're doing, who know what you're looking at when you see a lawsuit. Please go to M90USA.com. Take a look at the papers that we've got there. Take a look at the complaint. Please look at it and get online and tell people about it and let people know that this is legit. We're not playing here. This is real.
well let's talk about a call to action.
We need people telling us, we need people out there that can support us and tell people how legitimate this is and counter all the trolls out there that are saying it's not.
Well, that's a great talking point, John, and I appreciate you bringing that up. That what we've got to do is we've got to do a call to action. People have to sit there and say, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm so tired of people saying, what do we do? And they sit back down.
I know, right?
We've
Get up and do something.
We're big on challenges at M90. Paul knows this directly from working with me. He's big on challenges. And the fact is what we need people going to the website, M90USA.com. We need people liking and sharing stuff. We need people promoting the website, putting on their social media, talking to their friends about it, challenging people to give 2 cups of coffee each month, $5 or $6 or $10, no matter where you're at in the country, to the legal fund, which we'll talk about in a minute, goes to the foundation, and the other side is to go to M90's educational networks. That goes to us. That goes to help us put the podcasts on, produce videos, do these other things to build a organization that is fighting back the lies.
Yep.
Okay? We need people doing that.
Thank you for watching No, It's About the Republic show. And stay tuned for episode 2, part 4 with special guest Paul Davis.